Hello, welcome back to my channel. Antoinette here. I'm going to reply to the tag that Giselle over at Madwitch has started, and I believe Simon at Hermit's Cave has also done a live this weekend to respond to as well. And it is about modern alternatives to sort of original decks. Giselle did 3 decks, so she did Marseille, Thoth, and the RWS. And in amongst this, while I was thinking about what to do, I kind of wondered about the other decks that are around that have been originals. So it didn't have to be these 3. These were the 3 that she picked. So you could choose other decks. So you could choose Pip decks. You could choose Minchiati. You could choose probably Lenormand. So yeah, kind of original divination decks that are out and about. So I've just put this one here, and I hope it'll come clear why. I don't know a lot about Marseille, and I have a funny feeling most of my decks fall in this category and not this category. So that's why I've got those 2 there. I kind of class them as the same thing. But the lovely Masha's musings, I think, helped educate me in the difference between a Pip deck and a Marseille deck. It's something to do with the swords being curved and not straight. That's the difference, mainly. Anyway, let's get into these. Right then, first deck out. Standard deck of playing cards. Comes with Jack, Queen, Knight. The original, so my understanding now is there's one in the Middle East of playing card, so a set of cards like this to play card games, so proper card games, would have had Page, Jack and King, because it originated in a masculine dominated part of the world, and over time the Queen has been put in and the Page has been removed, which is why we keep the Jack and we've kept the King. And that is my understanding of Pip decks kind of coming into use, and how they've sort of become what they are today. And that is about as limited as my knowledge is about that subject. Anything else you guys want to add? Because there's so many of you who know much more than me. Drop it into comments below, or of course respond with your tag. So why this deck? Why have I got it out, and why am I comparing and contrasting? So I've dropped this one out because the only reason I own what I think is classed as Marseille, everything else I used to call Marseille, I think this is a Marseille original, or copy of, or however you want to put it. My understanding is, for the diehards out there, it's to do with the colourway. It must be this colourway. It must have people facing in certain directions. Again, really doesn't bother me. I'm not, can get my knickers in or not about that, because that's not how I use the deck, because I read pips. But your battens and your swords are curved, despite the fact that to me that's a Pip deck. So, you have to excuse my lack of knowledge. I'm not a history buff. It's never been my thing. So this deck is only in my collection just because it came with Total Tarot. That's the only reason I own it. I don't find the backs particularly attractive. The colours on this one are okay, but I've shuffled it once for the sake of owning it, and I've never used it beyond that. So there's my 2 kind of comparisons of what I mistakenly probably call Marseille. Then of course there's the Visconti sforza, which is sort of a updated version of this. So you can see where I'm going. This arrived here, this became known, and then this came around the same time, or just after, I think. But they're different areas, aren't they? So we've got France, we've got Italy. And because this one, again, was a card deck, so coming off the playing card thought process, and this has pips, it has people in it, but the swords aren't curved. So that's why I'm kind of guessing from what I've been told that this doesn't class as a Marseille specific deck, but it is a beautiful deck. And again, it's one that I have used and I have read with, and I quite enjoy it. I enjoy the imagery. I especially enjoy the gold foiling on this one. So would this be my modern version of those two decks? I mean, it could be, but I don't think it's one that I would choose as my one to use, if you see where I'm going. So get them back in there. You can tell I've really prepped for this video, can't you? Then I thought this one, because everyone likes this deck. So I thought this would be a perfect modern day equivalent to a Marseille. But it's not, is it? It's just pips. Because the swords, which I probably won't be able to find now, aren't curved and they're slightly illustrated. Where are we? I've shuffled in the index card. There we go. So the swords are pip orientated, or illustrated pips, as they're often called. And therefore, if we're being sort of strict about the matter, I couldn't call this a Marseille. But that is one that I would have put in my possibilities. Certainly one that I would consider replacing a Visconti with. If was needed. So then I thought, what about Keymaster Tarot? Because that's a pretty good one. But of course, this is very evidently back to my playing card deck. The spades of swords, they are curved. So I didn't know if that was potatoes at this point, or whether it actually classed. But I thought this would make a brilliant alternative Marseille, just given the buttons are straight, just given how beautiful it is and its difference in imaging. But I really do love the images of this deck. I mean, look at that devil. So I think it's a great alternative. But again, I'm not sure if it's quite the one. If I had to pick playing card deck, maybe this one, because I think it's really, it is just so well produced. It's a beautiful deck, absolutely beautiful. But there's one deck. Now I got this one out, and I was considering whether, because I do not have a Minchiati, if I'm even pronouncing that correctly. I do not have a Minchiati, but I wondered if this deck might make a Minchiati, if I'm being very honest with you. Yes, he made it he's in here. So this is the purple Trionfi della Luna. Trionfi della Luna, so it's the Marseille styled cousin. So I thought, well, it's got the word Marseille in it, so it makes Marseille. This would be the Marseille deck then, wouldn't it? So we have all of the... I don't use this one, as you can tell, because the whole thing's in order. But we have the curved swords. We have the gorgeous buttons. We have the cups. And then at the end of the deck, which is why I was thinking Minchiati, we have, with this deck anyway, so we have the 10 oracle cards as extras. And then we have the alternative trumps. And this is where I thought, is this where we could get the extras? Because the Minchiati has 40 trump cards to it. So it has a different order of cards. So there's a different order to the majors. And then it has, what does it have? So it has the, oh my goodness, earth, air, fire, water, the elements, has the elements. And it also has astrological cards. So you have the star signs. But I wondered if, because I haven't really spent a lot of time examining what these are. I mean, I know they have a little write-up, but I don't know if any of these actually indicate potentially star signs. So I wondered if Patrick has been clever enough to hide that within the creation of this, and then you could swap them in and out of the deck to create that deck if you wanted it. Now, I don't know, so those of you who are familiar with this, I know there is a deck that this could be based on, so that's why I'm not 100% sure if I'm on the right lines. But we do have, so here we have a couple of alternatives as well. And I have a feeling, so the House of God, so you get the House of the Devil in the Minchiati, and you get the Devil card. So you get two, the Devil and the House of the Devil. So it feels like you could possibly like kind of play with these and drop them in to reorder your deck. But having not got a Minchiati to do that with, I'm not quite, sure whether my thinking is going to be in the right ballpark or not. But this would be, so this is my Marseille replacement. I know this is the purple one. I got the purple one out because it had all the extra cards in, so I could chat and kind of talk through my thinking there. But it wouldn't be the purple one. It would probably be the rose, because that's my favourite colourway. So there we go. So there's my eventual way around it. That's my Marseille. Then there's thoth. So you have to excuse me. I've got part of the deck up here because I'm using it for my deck and walk. So this is the miniature version, or they call it the miniature version, but I think it's quite large. And we all know this one. So the artwork is by, let me get the name right. So it's the Alistair Crowley thoth, and is it Lady Frida Harris, isn't it? Yep, because I always give the other Frida surname out when I do this. So we have the colours, the artwork, pip styles, symbology. So this is a really good deck. I think the pictures are great. I don't think anyone should be scared of it, and I think everyone should pick it up and attempt to read with it. Regardless of who the creator is, the deck itself is beautifully created from the artist. And it's got so much kind of stuff in it. So I think that this is a good one. And I only have one possible replacement for this. And that one is one that I've shown quite a bit. There's that one. So I don't have any other suggestions. But it does say quite clearly they're pips. So I'm back to that combination of pips. So I'm now doing a combination of thoth and pips. And I can't escape it. There we go. We have pips. We have thoth inspired images. We have masculine images. We've got amazing set of trumps or triumphs, however you'd like to pronounce it. And then you have the pips that you can pull out. So you've got the pips that you can pull out and do your card games with, which is what I really do enjoy about this deck. And you can then just do your majors readings. But it's a brilliant deck. So yeah, this would be my replacement to the thoth. If I didn't have it, it would be this one, I think. I did think about the Star Tarot, and I decided this one still just triumphs it, if you see what I did there. Yeah, so I really do like this one. And the colours are gorgeous, as I've said many times, gushing about it. So So this one's on Etsy, so I do recommend you pop across to Etsy to get this one. It comes in, this expanded deck only comes in this size as far as I'm aware. So it's kind of a pocket size, about the size of playing cards, perfect. But it's a great deck, and I also have the miniature pocket edition, like tiny cards of the Majors only. So you can just buy the Majors deck, or you can buy the expanded Triumph's Tarot, or Triumph's Parade Tarot Pips. Yeah, so there's that one. So that is my thoth replacement. / maybe this one replacement. So again, I've kind of not sure where I'm sat, but if I'm sat here, this one goes between the two. And then we land on the RWS, don't we? Let me just put those ones back in there a second, because I know what'll happen. I'll end up losing a card. I'm terrible. So then we have that deck that I never use much. So the standard RWS, again, illustrated. I'm going to call these illustrated pips because they are pippy to me. So many of you would disagree, but yeah, I mean, there's illustrations and there's pips in there. Look, I mean, that's pips if ever I've seen them. So we have this one. Now, what on earth would I replace this one with? Well, so many, let's be honest. Again, back to the Star Tarot. The Star Tarot could easily span all of the categories that I have in front of me. We have the Tarot of Sweet Twilight from Lo Scarabeo. Could be a great alternative to this deck. It's got good colours. It follows the system. It's a favourite of mine. Reads nicely. It's nice and quirky. It's my style. So this is one that I thought of. What do you think? Sorry about that light there. It's because it's 8:30 in the evening while I'm doing this. And it's just starting to go a little bit dark outside, so I had to shed some light on the matter because I'm not close enough to a window to get the daylight in. So we had that one. And then I thought, what about the jack-o'-lantern? Because this is really, really classic. You know, if we're going to follow a traditional, this one is following it. You've got your high priestess. You've got your pillars there. She's got her scroll in her hand. You've got your B and your J. You know, so there's plenty in there that you can take with this one. Your Six of Pentacles. Queen of Wands. So again, I just thought it was a nice. There's our Ten of Swords. So it's pretty. You see what I mean? So it's pretty much there. It is slightly deviated, but not a lot. Like hardly any deviation to. Like look at that hermit. Hardly any deviation to the Radiant Wise. But the artwork, the theme of this is my style. Like I love these skulls. Look. In the corn. Look at Seven of Pentacles. Our Lovers. And the Moon. So I thought that could be a really good, like, all year rounder replacement for an RWS. Nice, bright, colourful, cute backs. It's not too. I don't know why I don't like this so much, but it just doesn't do anything for me. It really doesn't do anything for me. I think it may be the colourways, which I think I've said before. So it may just be the colourways that just don't do it. So it might be that when I find the colourway in this, I enjoy it. But at the moment, I haven't found it. But there is one deck. There is one that is always going to replace this deck every time. Have you guessed it yet? I know most of you who are regulars here probably have. It's going to be this one. This is my replacement to the RWS. Because look at this. It's funny, quirky, it's going to make me laugh. It does follow the RWS. It's yeah, it's this one. How could I not? Although I wanted to keep you all guessing, so I didn't want to give you a preview of this one and make you wonder. I really just want to keep guessing. Is she going to pull it? Of course she is. I'm not going to let you down. So it is the Deviant Moon by Patrick Lenzer, and it's this one, the original colourway, borderless, not the paradoxical. The paradoxical I like to use specifically at Halloween because it just has a very different vibe and feel to it. But this one, for every other day kind of reading, pulling to replace an RWS. So, I don't know what the name of this tag is. I will look it up and I'll drop it into comments or in the heading even. So I know there's a couple of different tags running to attach to it. So my RWS, my thoth, and my marseille. There's my three. Love to see what yours are. Please do join in with the tag. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Bye bye.